Hello and welcome back to Lorbek. I'm your host Harry, and today I'm going to be driving this gorgeous pearlescent white BMW M6 Coupe. Discontinued BMW M6 is one of my personal favorites because it has a whopping 423 kilowatts and 680 newton meters of torque from a 4.4 litre twin turbo V8. Now, this is a very late model BMW M6 and it is the LCI, so with that you get updated lights and a few different interior features that we'll go through later. A couple of things with the spec of this car, it is just gorgeous. It's got the carbon ceramic brakes with gloss black 21-inch wheels. We have a pearlescent white paint and of course the carbon fiber roof, which you could option with a sunroof, but it is a lot better if these cars are spec'd without it because it does help to save a lot of weight on the car. Coming down the side of the car, we have the privacy glass from factory from BMW, and I think it just looks great with the coupe lines of the car. On the back here, we have a 295 rear section tire, which is really going to help put the power down on the road, especially with the limited slip diff in this car and the snappy dual clutch gearbox that it just wants to break traction whenever you put your foot down. But the car's got a three-way traction control system, which along with those wide rear tires is really going to help it out to get a 4-second 0 to 100 sprint. Around the back of the car, we have a nice little boot lip spoiler, classic M quad tips that are of course real and round. There's no fakery going on there. Now let's jump in the interior and let me walk you through some of the features of the car. All right, so nice big heavy doors on the coupe, which is a good sign of quality. Now, the seating position in this car is fantastic. BMWs just have a way of making you feel really comfortable and connected to the car. You sit nice and low. The steering wheel comes close out to my chest, which gives a nice little bend in the arms. And of course, being push to start, V8 comes to life. We've got an Alcantara roof lining, carbon fiber on the dash and down the center console. And being that it is 30 degrees today, we have ventilated seats, which is just bliss. All right, now let's get out on the road and let's let the car do the talking. Alright guys, welcome to the driver's seat of the M6. Now, nice and short intro for you today because aside from this car being a great performer and a really good looking car, there isn't really an interesting backstory to it. So I want you to experience with me just how quick and efficient this car gets down the road. Being an F-Series BMW, it's all very familiar to me. All the buttons and everything are exactly the same in the M6 as they are in an M3, M4 or M2. The only real difference is that the quality in this car is a lot better than those. Everything's a little bit more solid. You can notice the weight. The car has a very different presence on the road. When this car first debuted, a lot of people really weren't happy that BMW had thrown out the glorious V10 that came in the previous M5 and M6 and ditched it for this 4.4 litre twin turbo. Now, that was because that V10 was one of the best sounding engines BMW have ever produced, and everyone will miss it dearly and do, but you just can't get over the fact that turbocharging nowadays is just so much more efficient and better at creating big power and also at the same time being way more reliable. And it goes to show because BMW have put this 4.4 litre into all of their new M5s, X5Ms, X6s, you name it, it's in there. And they've just improved on the platform continuously. And it's just still such a good engine to this day. One thing that I wish this car did have was an M Performance exhaust, because it is a little bit muted on the inside of the car, and that's just down to all the sound deadening that's in the 6 Series that this car is based off of. But if you drop the windows down and you hear it from the outside, it is actually still pretty loud. And dropping speed down into first on that dual clutch box instantly. It's just got so much punch in the back. And those carbon ceramic brakes as well are so strong once they're up to temp. Now, a little bit of squeal from them, but you know, that's just a trait and a trade-off with carbon ceramics. But you know, you're not going to get any brake fade, especially when it's 30 degrees every single weekend in Melbourne. But it just allows you to pull up such a heavy car with ease. It almost feels like you're stopping a 2 Series. Wow. The comfort and refinement along with the sheer performance is just out of this world, and it baffles me that this car is over a decade old. Now, given this is an LCI model, so this is one of the last of the M6s before they changed over and came out with the M8. Oh, nice little pop on the upshifts as well there. Overall, it's just such a good car, and for $89,000 listed currently at Lorbek, I don't think that you can get such a car with such a breadth of abilities. Like all M cars, they are extremely adjustable. So you've got 3 modes for steering, suspension, engine, 3 modes on the transmission and on the traction control. Now that's a whole heap of buttons that you have to press when you first get in the car, and that's why with BMW M cars, they do have the M1 and M2 button on the steering wheel, so you can pre-select and save all of your favorite modes. So you don't have to faff around pressing a million different buttons to get the car in the mode that you want. It's almost a shame that they've gone to the 8-speed ZF box in the newer G80 M3s and the F90 M5 and M8s, because they kind of hide the speed a little bit more because the box is a little bit more seamless, whereas this is a bit more snappy. Not that this is any way, shape or form slower, I think it actually is a little bit quicker, but it is going to give you that kick in the back, and it kind of elevates the driving experience a little bit more. Now, I touched on the exhaust a little bit earlier, and another thing with newer BMWs nowadays is that with the EU emission standards, all new modern cars have OPF filters, the particulate filters that just muffle and take away so much of that sound. So even though this car is not over the top loud, at least you don't have that annoying artificial pumped in sound through the speakers. This is all just the natural sound of the V8. It's great, that LSD in the car. It's so predictable. It locks out immediately, and it just allows you to play with the car. And for a car that's meant to be a Grand Tourer 2+2, the performance of it is honestly mind-blowing. Okay, so as we're heading back into town now, let me just summarize a couple of things that I just love about the car. For starters, it is ridiculously quick. You almost don't need this much power. It holds the road amazingly with those massive tires and wheels. The speeds that you can push this car around is just incredible. If you want to just chill, it's comfortable, and the road presence is menacing. If you see this car coming up behind you in the rearview mirror, you're gonna wanna get out of the way. I can't fault the technology either. Compared to newer cars, you know, you're gonna miss out on the automatic steering on the freeway and automatic collision braking, but everything else, it's got Bluetooth, it's got heated and cooled seats, an amazing sound system as well from Harman Kardon, and you're not missing out on any creature comforts. All right guys, thank you so much for watching this week's Friday Drive. If you like the video, please make sure to leave a comment and to subscribe to the channel so you don't miss out on any new videos. And with that, I'll see you in the next video. Just how, I don't like having no script.